Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar dedicated to OVHcloud Web PaaS Powered by Platformsh, the automated web development platform that facilitates the launch and execution of web application or website. I'm Fanny Bouton, Startup Program Leader at OVHcloud for France Benelux, and I'm delighted to welcome you today to introduce you this new solution, which is suitable for startups. Yeah. This session will be moderated by Laurent Michel, Director of Public Affairs and Partnership Management from Platformsh, and Sylvain Landrevier, our Product Marketing Manager, Web Hosting and Domains at OVHcloud. Hi, gentlemen. I hope you are ready to give the best to my little startups. So, Sylvain, what are the developer concerns that have motivated the partnership and the products you're presenting today?
Well, thanks, Fanny. Hi, everyone. That's the good question to ask, because that's exactly where we started from when thinking about the future. I had a beta tester telling me today that he was surprised to see that OVHcloud was not in this game yet. So yeah, here it is. So basically, the concerns you were asking about is, yeah, exactly the entry point to this new world for us. So talking about jump forward, but for some people, it's already the reality for quite some time. And here are the different elements that led us to partner with Platform.sh. Is that first, we have a pretty strong web hosting solution. In general, strong in terms of performance and easiness of use. And we wanted to keep that, but it's still very limited in terms of languages, where you can go with PHP only. And that was the first thing we've heard a lot. Our developers wanted to be able to work with more different or advanced languages, given the projects they're working on. The next thing is that we were always in this world where a single developer copies and pastes files, update his website through FTP, and there was no way to integrate these CICD tools and new way of working on web development for apps or websites in general. Same with the workflow, which is directly linked. And we wanted to keep, as I said, this simplicity and the fact that our users don't want to manage the infrastructure. They don't want to have to update OS and everything that is supposed to be on our end when talking about web hosting, comparing to container work, for example. Same with the large teams or way of working with the permissions for users. So yeah, we definitely understood that we were quite behind in terms of what our users needed for new web development. So I might take shortcuts for those who are very experienced in the audience, but still I wanted to have everybody on the same, at least on the same level that we're needed to understand what we're talking about today. So I'll be talking with Laurent a lot about CICD. So for those who are not very used to these methods yet, you'll be able to go deeper, but just for first overview, what we call CICD is continuous integration and continuous delivery or deployment. So if you consider an application that is on Git repository, just like GitLabs, the developers can push code changes every day or multiple times a day. And that's the way to forget about this no way of pushing anything live on Friday, or please be very careful before important periods such as sales or Black Fridays, because we don't want to go on production with fixes. Those who are used to pushing code snippets on Git are very used to the fact that now we can do that as many times a day as we want. So that's the first basics that we need to know in terms of what we're talking for integration and deployment. Some other details, again, a lot of shortcuts here because that's not the whole topic for today, but there's this 12-factor methodology, which is quite aged now. It's still very relevant. And this is the new, let's say, paradigm of web development and the best practices we should think about when building websites or apps. And we'll see that the solution we're talking about will be helping and focusing a lot on the code base with version controlling system on deployments, the dependencies, also how to declare and isolate them properly. as well as the configuration where I was talking about not having to manage the infrastructure. There's still a bit of latitude in terms of what we can configure, even if it's easy. Indeed, the build, deploy, and run is the heart of CICD with pushing code on Git. So that's also something we're going to talk a lot about. And if I skip a few here, the development, and so the staging and production parity, cloning the application, being in the exact same situation on prod and pre-prod is something that will really help, and we're very happy about in terms of the solution we're offering. Today, if you want to work on these new methods of integration and development, which is a PaaS for, in our case, it's an application PaaS, but we'll stick to platform as a service for now. There are different ways to go with that, and all give you a different level of configuration and what you have in your hands. And on the other hand, the simplicity and how easy it is to build the solution or to have the solution to start developing. So of course, you can start building your own PaaS. That's what we do when we're on a big container, and you don't have to, and you will have to do pretty much everything from the first layer once you have a server. You can go with already managed infrastructures such as Docker or Kubernetes, where you'll build everything inside the containers. There's the next level is very specific, usually with techno-specific PaaS, where you see here the different CMS that we think about. And then there's this generic PaaS with different competitors, which we are now one of them, thanks to Platform.sh, the most famous one being Heroku. And Laurent, I think if I'm not wrong, the last 2-3 techno-specific PaaS being Symfony, Iberia, and Magento are all based on your technologies, right?
Yes, we also have a white label strategy. So we exist by ourselves, named Platform.sh, and now with you, but we also exist for those brands you mentioned.
Okay, that's interesting. And yeah, that's pretty much what we thought, what we've seen, and what we've heard. And Laurent will detail a lot more what the answer can be to these new concerns.
So we've seen there are changes in method and solutions. Laurent, will you tell us how the web PaaS powered by Platformsh answers these needs and how it works?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for you startup attending today, your goal is to provide users with a great experience on the web online, but it also means that you have to cope with all those boring and gray tasks on the left-hand side. They are often referred to as DevOps tasks. It's really cumbersome, and often people don't really understand how important it is. I'm talking about provisioning, which is having servers ready, securing them, patching them, securing also the database. Each time you have to relaunch, to redeploy your application, you have to make kind of Docker images, which is quite complex, and then to test in some environments dedicated for it, and then to deploy it, and then to use such very Hive tools such as Kubernetes. But it's quite complex, and what we see in very small web teams, such as the one we found in startups, that half of the time is committed to DevOps those tasks instead of focusing on the real experience, which matters the most. Yes. Next slide. And even for startups, you don't have only one unique website. You often have one, for instance, CMS, PHP websites for your corporate front end. and you may have some e-commerce website in another language, in Python, for instance, or other Node.js website. Well, the more you deal with the different websites, the more it's really difficult to deal with all these DevOps tasks we've mentioned earlier. So next slide. So the idea of a web PaaS is really that simple, is to help you focus only on this pink task that is your business, and to hire only web developers to cope with that, with the designers. But you don't have to have a DevOps team, because all these great functions, they are provided automatically by web PaaS like Platform.sh. That's the idea of the product. So how does it work exactly? So here is a diagram which is quite known. It displays if you want to have a web application online, you have various possibility options. On the left, the different options are displayed in white. You have to do the task. In blue, you buy it. So if you develop your web app and you host it on-prem, then that's the first column, and you have to do everything on yourself. On the opposite, on the right-hand side, if you buy a SaaS application, it's completely hosted, and you don't have to do anything, only use it. But when you want to use the cloud, because the cloud is great, so you want to deploy your web app on the cloud, then often people only think of the IaaS option. So IaaS option is to use servers, instances in the cloud on a IaaS, infrastructure as a service. But don't forget that, as we've seen it earlier, you'll have to build yourself all this stack, this CICD stack, to have your web apps easily deployed on the IaaS. So this is where the web PaaS comes. What we do with OVHcloud, we started with the great IaaS infrastructure of OVHcloud, and we build on top of it a full stack that is, and then the web development is then really great and easy for all the teams, for the web teams. That's the idea, explained differently. But if you don't want to PaaS, and if you want to use the cloud, I mean bare cloud, yes, and to build your own CI/CD tool, it is what most people do, by the way. You'll have to deal with all those tools, which are numerous, complex, and they are quite changing, because some are in a hype curve, others not. So there are collaboration tools, build tools like Docker, for instance. You have to make your Docker images. The test tools with all those script language to automate your CCI, and then the deployment, and then the run. I mentioned Kubernetes. So that makes lots of tools to master and to understand, and that's why CI/CD without a PaaS is so complex.
If I may, Laurent, in here, I'd be interested to know for our users if you guys are used to handle all these manually, and if you know them. I have a poll which I can launch now. If you have just a minute to answer it, that will be interesting to see. So you should see this page asking you if you know these tools, and mainly if you're used to that, and how many of those. I'll wait for a few answers to come in.
Yeah. I say more than 20, no?
No.
No?
It really depends on the audience.
Yeah.
So basically it's around, I'm gonna close that for now. Thank you. Almost everyone has voted already. Yeah, the answers are mainly in the low levels today, around 1 to 10 mainly, and that's really interesting because it really depends on the audience. Well, last time we had almost everybody had more than 20 tools. Some saying that's the vast majority of these were manually integrated. So that's another good insight. So thanks for that. Laurent, sorry, giving that back to you.
So how does it work? If tomorrow you want to use our web PaaS, there are two main use cases. The first one is when you don't have a web app yet, you just want to start it from scratch. And the good news is that you can start with one of our templates, which are all maintained and secured. So, for instance, you want to start with a Angular plus Node.js plus MongoDB web app, or a simple Drupal 9 CMS. Well, just click and you're done. You have all the environments settled, and you can start very easily and very quickly. So that's very helpful. The second use case is when you already have your code, a web app you've coded, and then another good news is that you don't have to alter and to edit any just one. You don't have to alter one line of code. The solution is pretty easy. You only have to describe in a small YAML text file which component of infrastructure you need. For instance, this version of PHP or this version of MySQL or whatever. You just describe that, and you're done. And then you can just work and instantiate as many environments as you want for development or test. We'll come to that later. So for all those two, either you start from scratch or you have already one application done, it's very easy to start with the web PaaS. Yes, among Sylvain said it, but among the various solutions in the market, some are very specific to one technology. For instance, for Drupal CMS, there is one cloud service to host Drupal websites. The advantage of our solution is that you can develop in any technology, any backends. We cover most of them. And by the way, we come from the open source world. And yes, I wanted to insist on this slide because it makes you understand very quickly the spirit of our of our product. On the left-hand side is a scenario you may have encountered already. That is, in the real, in many for many companies, they have one production environment where the website is hosted, and in-house they have only one staging, pré-production in French, or test environment. And it is difficult because when you have many, that's the case for startups typically, because you have many features you want to roll out, to deploy, but you have only one staging environment where you can do the test. So for 1 week, you use the staging to test one feature, and while you're testing this very feature, then the other features have to wait to be tested. So it's not very practical. And another inconvenience is that very often the production environments and staging environments are not the same, technically speaking. Libraries might differ a bit, and or technical specifications. It is so that when you think your tests are ready on the staging environment, you say to yourself, okay, everything's working, and then you hit deploy, it goes to prod, and then nothing works. So we all know this scenario. So I think we've solved those two problems. If you look at the right side, we handle code and as the same way as Git. No, sorry, do it again. We handle environments as the same way that Git handles code. So I don't know if you know very well Git, the versioning tool, but Git allows developers to have many branches in parallel for code and then to merge them and so on. So what we do is for each branch, for each developer, we provide one test environment. So there's not one unique staging env. There are as many environments as branches or developers. So this changes everything because you go very fast because each one is working on his own track. And the second thing is that those environments we provide, they are exactly the staging environments. They are copy paste exactly a clonage of the production environment. So you will find in the staging environment, you'll find the same data, the same files, the same cache. So you really think you're developing in the production environment. So when you're ready, you deploy and it will work because the two environments were exactly the same.
This includes databases, right? In data,
Yeah.
I guess. I have another poll on that one. Sorry to make everybody work today. It changes a bit. We wanted to know amongst you how many are using these new methods already, or if you're 100% using the development staging different environments as we used to, or if you're adapting that to different projects you might come up with. So again, a quick poll for everyone who is okay to answer, if you may. So that's the old world, the new world, or if you're in both worlds, as I was saying, depending on the different projects. I'll leave 1-2 minutes for that. And in any way, there's no issue. And the idea again is that we can grow together. And if that's something you might be interested in, if you're not already doing it, that's the good occasion, especially as we're going to see we'll still have a bit of beta ongoing so that we can test this.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much the results I was expecting. So not everyone has voted yet, but for those who want to see the results.
Ah, change.
Yeah. I think I can show them. So basically, we have a perfect repartition of old, new, and both. I was not expecting a lot of new world only, to be honest, and I was hoping to see a bit of both because I guess that's the change and the shift we're experiencing and seeing. So yeah, interesting to see. So we might have a third of our audience that would like to go to the next steps, and 2/3 who already kind of know it and might want to test it probably. So that's very good. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for that. Thanks.
So here is that's the same idea. This is the UI of our web PaaS solution. And for instance, so you have a small snapshot of your a screenshot of your homepage to understand the site you're working on. On the lower left, you see a quick map of the various containers used, and there's one container for the routing. We can see one container with a Python logo, one with the PostgreSQL logo, and so on. So just to show you the map of the containers running. On the right-hand side, it displays the idea of those test environments running in parallel. Each blue square is a branch in terms of code, like Git. And for each branch, you can click and have a look at the environments, the test environments provided for this branch. So it's very easy to collaborate and to go quite quickly, go fast on development. Thanks of this. And the metrics are quite obvious. So the 90% is, you know, in web development teams. So they are the web developers. The product is really made for us, and they are the DevOps team dealing with all these cumbersome tasks and not so easy back office technical side on the back end. With our solution, this team sees the incoming tickets for support dropping by 90%. So they can really focus on something more interesting for them rather than setting up a new environments or stuff like this. So you're gonna free your admin sys or DevOps or whatever the way you call him or her. The second thing is, so the 40% is that you're gonna free 40%, so sometimes 60% of the time of your web developers. So that's really huge. So that's time and money and go to market. The 15 is that the test acceptance phase is reduced in time by 15. This is quite huge. Why? Because we automate the CICD, the CI phase. We provide on-demand test environments, so on, and they are the same as the production environment. So it's very easy to if it works, you deploy. And as a result, we see that our clients deploy in production 20 times as before. We often, you know, often people are really they are scared to deploy in production. They are scared that the site gets down, and so on. With our solution, we see merchants that still continue deploying in production even Black Friday. You know, so there's no fear. This fear of deploying into production disappears quickly, and that's really great.
Okay, it sounds pretty efficient. Thanks, Laurent. Sylvain, I suppose this is the reason what you wanted Platformsh for a partner, isn't it? It's really
yeah,
nice.
that's yeah, that's exactly precisely one of the main reasons. Not only, but yeah, as we were saying, and this feels like Laurent answering to me when I express the needs, and Wassili's same language that we're speaking, the two of us. So yeah, indeed, that was the main answer to what we identified as new needs for developers and new concerns, which we want to help on. So that's the first thing. The product fits perfectly what we identified. And the other thing is that OVHcloud has specific values, especially in terms of how we handle data. The fact that we're European and completely compliant with GDPR rules. The fact that we want to be very, how to say that, it's not transparency, but still in the end, transparency with our users, our pricing. And this is something that is shared amongst Platform.sh and OVHcloud. So that was probably something that made us think we were going to be a good team. And again, as I was saying in introduction, we were lacking a PaaS offering in our portfolio. Platform.sh had a good PaaS solution. They are the European leader for that. We're the European leader for cloud. That definitely makes a good wedding, I guess. Wedding, it's not the exact same word since we're kind of in the same family. Platform.sh and OVHcloud are both part of the French tech. Some in one in EFT 120, the other in X40, but that's something we were kind of proud about, and something that again led to this work together. Of course, the product is integrated to our solution, to our hosting and infrastructure in general. So it features indeed the platform technology. As I was saying, it's European-based, and more precisely, everything is hosted in France. It's again pretty in line with all the data sovereignty concerns we're all facing, and we want to protect our clients about with GDPR. The solution has a large range of runtimes and environments. As Laurent was saying, pretty much every technology I could come up with is integrated in there. We'll see that it has also, in terms of runtime range and environment, a flexibility in terms of power in the infrastructure and storage, these kind of things. The staging environment, I can't insist. I can insist more, but I wouldn't insist enough any day about how important it is this clone feature and how easy it is to test and go live with that. So again, we're pretty proud about everything we've seen in their technology and the fact that we could integrate it. And if we have to remember one thing, is that we're offering their expertise, thanks and combined with our infrastructure. And the idea is, again, to give this flexibility and agility to developers. This is something that is starting easily, very simple, as Laurent was explaining. The configuration part is plain simple. That's something we've always wanted to keep in our web hosting offerings. This has been our kind of motto. We want it simple, but we want it flexible, and we want users to be able to focus on their project only. If they can just write code and that's what they're here for, we're both happy. And again, this agility with these new CICD methods that we now can offer is definitely a big change. If I now go deeper into what we're exactly offering, the product is separated in two different flavors. What makes the biggest difference between these three start, develop, and expand plans is the number of users who can work on it at the same time. The start plan is really for, just before going into details, that's an offer where you work on a project and you can have different offers, start, develop, expand, multiple of those in your account indeed. And each project has their users, which are basically the developers that will operate the platform and put the code in. So back to that, the start offer is for one developer only. The develop one, about small development teams, is for 3 to 5 users, and then the expand is for a large project with many more. So it starts around 10 users. And in there you have different things you can modify. We'll see a bit later, but the platform is delivered as follows. So the start offer has 5 gigabytes of storage, and it's limited in terms of its container. It's only on PHP, Node.js, or Python. So corresponding CMS, of course, to these languages, and it's a single service for database, for example. It comes up with our Let's Encrypt certificate, which is pretty basic, according to me, in terms of that's not something I would ever go live without in terms of our web hosting products, and usual support with tickets. And we're both OVHcloud and Platform.sh answering to the technical issues our users are having. It's pretty similar, but a little bit different on the develop and expand offers, which from scratch have a little more storage and absolutely no restriction on the container. So all the supported languages, I cannot list them in there. So that's a lot. And everything is pretty similar, except again, storage and the number of users. Then we have the options. Everything is unlinked, so you can change one option independently from the others. And they're mainly about the power of our infrastructure in terms of vCPU, and this is ramping up along with the RAM. The staging environments are also optional. You can have, so from scratch, when out of the box, you have one production environment and one pre-production staging environment in each offer. But if you want to have more branches, this corresponds to additional stagings, and you can have as many as you want. So if it really depends on the activity, especially for startups, where sometimes you have one big web project and that's pretty much it on the road. Sometimes this project itself has different ideas from the developers or smaller meta projects in there, which can be branches. And in the case we have different projects that go along the main one, it's again the solution going with staging environments. Next options are indeed the users, which are available for develop or expand without limitations in terms of number of users when you're in the expand, and the storage, which is not directly linked to the power, CPU and RAM, but is increments of 5 gigabytes, which you can add. In terms of pricing, here's the final list. It shouldn't change until the launch. The launch is planned, I can talk about that now, with 2 phases. The first country to be live will be France. It should be around mid-May, so in a little more than two weeks. And the final go live has to be signed off definitely yet, but it should be very like first of June, very early June, and it will be available EMEA wide. We're seeing EMEA because again this is hosted in France, so we can always have front CDNs in front of the front end. But since the platform is operated by the developers, which is hosted on our servers in France, we don't want to have a laggy experience for now, so we're restricting the product to EMEA. I talked a little about the, so I'm not going to go too deep into the price list. You can see how it starts, and it's ramping up with the vCPUs mainly. Just understand that if you have more vCPUs and are asking for several staging environments, the vCPUs will be applied to the staging, so the cost will be ramping again along with the number of environments you have. The main rule to remind is that one production vCPU will be divided by 2 in pre-production, and that's the case for every level of the offer you have. I talked a little bit about the beta. Again, it's still running. You can come in the beta anytime you want until we're launching live. So if you just want to have a glance at the product or test what you will have live and see if that's probably or not a solution for you later, it's still a good time to get onboarded. The conditions, the technical infrastructure is very similar to the start offer, which I described just before, except that it has absolutely no possible options. So it's limited in terms of performance to 1 vCPU and 5 gigabytes of storage, and PHP, Node.js, and Python for all languages. So that's exactly the conditions as the start offer with 1 user, and except there are no possible options. To get onboarded, it's pretty simple. We have a labs page, and you'll have this presentation and links so that you can directly click if you want to try. You'll be asked to fill a form where we qualify the candidates to make sure the users know what the solution is about and see if that really corresponds to them, especially as the beta is limited in terms of number of users. We have 50 slots and they're not yet full, but we're about to. So we'll still have room, especially for people who are here today, of course. So this is pretty simple. You fill the form. It will be in my mailbox, and I'll ask you to order the platform so that we can deliver. And we have communities where we can discuss together, help you, and gather feedback, which is mainly on our Discord server. And that's pretty much it, folks. I hope it was pretty clear what we said today. Again, according to the advancement savviness level of the developers you have in your companies, it really the product is targeted to advanced usage, but that's not something impossible, especially as with the solution, it's really simple to start with. So I'm pretty sure people might be interested at least into testing this new way of developing and going live with websites.
Thank you, Laurent, Sylvain, and Vincent to come today and to explain this to our startups. And I hope we see you soon, and we have a very big launch of these products.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone, to be here today.
Thank you. If I can close upon that, if you have any other questions that come up, of course, you know Fanny, and I'll send her our link to our Discord server so you can get in. And if you have any questions or see what the users do, or yeah, you're very welcome, and we'll be happy to see you there.
Thank you very much, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.